So I've got the radiators and everything out. That is not necessary, honestly. You can see these pipes right here are what goes to the radiators, and that could have been left connected to them. Not that big a deal, but I've got all the connections in here done. It's really not a lot. The transmission cooler, radiator hoses, and vacuum lines, overflow, fuel line, stuff like that. On this part here, what I have left is the two coolant lines right here, the heater core or heater lines. They're the yellow ones, those small yellow ones. Get those disconnected. They're actually a quick connect. There's one there you can see, and there's one back here. And the two AC lines, pull those out, do those two quick connects. That's all there's left on this. Then I can go in here and underneath. I think I'm gonna drop it down a little bit first to get all those connectors for the wiring harness. That's basically, you just unplug all those. Got everything underneath the bottom. Got to, I'm gonna take the coilover out of here. You got the brake lines to the left to take loose, and the ABS sensor, got to come disconnect it. I'm gonna disconnect the shock at the bottom so I don't have to pull the axles out or anything. Drop this whole thing with the brakes and everything on it. And then the upper ball joint at the top up in here is where I'm gonna take the knuckle loose. That way it'll all drop down. The shock will stay in and the upper A-arm will stay in. But so not much left to go. That's pretty much it. And I'll be able to drop it out of here. So let me show you what it looks like when it comes out. It is on the cradle. So this is what I made. It rolls around. These pins right here line up in the back. And then on the front, these pieces here go up onto the part. Basically what I use is jack points a lot of time on both sides. They both go there. Now all I got to do is unbolt the rear, and it drops down on here. The front's already touching. And then raise the car up. Let's see how that goes. She is out. So at this point in time, it's a matter of just pulling it out from under the car, getting it backing out of the way where I can work on it. But I want to tie up any loose ends so I don't forget anything. I've got to run. This brake line here has got to be rerouted. The other side of the car all the way down. This one's got to be replaced. That's why it's all bent up, because I was trying to just make it stop leaking. Should have just put a cap on it, made a mess out of it. But anyway, so that's pretty much how you get it out of there. It took me about 6 hours total. So that's not too bad, actually. Yeah, I worked over days, but you know, it is how it is. Man, them exhausts still look good though, don't they? Wow. It looked pretty good, I think. So that's how it looks while it's out. And this is what it looks like inside. Yeah, that's a lot of crap. And you can see over here where all the connectors are for the harness. So I have to unbolt one wire that goes through the firewall over here. This little wire, it goes just for the starter. So it's an individual wire. This is all the electronics, transmission and engine wiring. And then I've got one main wire here that goes to the starter. It hooks off to the side on a circuit breaker. And that's why I did all this like this, because it's so much easier. I've got one connector here. Had to disconnect, and that goes on the intake tube. I had to make this. I stopped for a second because I took this bracket off, moved it over. It just basically slips on this little bolt right here, and it was going to hang up on a lot of stuff, so it's just easier. Just all I do is loosen the bolt. It just hooks on there, slide it off to the side, and it pretty much cleared everything except for this heater hose sticking out like this. You know, it kept hanging up. I had to push it back and, you know, get it out from under this area right up in here where it was hanging up. But other than that, nothing else hung up. I did forget the upper mount, so I had to get that out of there. I saw it right out of the box. Something was going wrong, and that's what it was. So anyways, got all that done, and man, it made it a whole lot easier to get out now that I've got all these little clamps. All this stuff right here is what I had to do when I put it together. All these hoses, I had to make up all that stuff, and now that that's all made up, I got these quick connects here, just boom, boom, pop off the heater core lines, and it actually has fluid all the way to the end of each line, so it shouldn't even have to take much to get the air out of them once I hook them back up. But I put some caps on there to keep anything from getting in them, fluid from getting out. But yeah, the only other two lines, I had the AC lines here, the wires here, and then all the bolts and suspension, and that takes the whole thing out, suspension and brake lines. So now I'll begin the task of replacing the brake lines. I think I'm going to do that next. Get this engine and stuff out of the way, replace all those brake lines and get that done first. And then that way it won't be an issue. Probably won't do the ends of them until I get this back up under there, but I'll be able to cut them to length. And just, matter of fact, I may even be able to flare them to fit and everything, just bend them in place. But anyways, that's it. Engine's out. Next step, if I get the radiators in, I'm going to put those in and go ahead and bolt them up. That way they won't be in the way, get knocked over or anything like that. So I can go ahead and put all that back here, back together actually. So if I can do that, I'll do that too. But other than that, I'm going to start working on the brake lines. Thanks for your support. Thanks for watching. You have a good one.